Hey and welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Preston. I'm a professional recruiter in the technology industry. So we've been talking a lot about different online recruiting strategies lately. Recently, we discussed some general techniques, and in my last video, I covered some tips for locating and reaching out to talent on LinkedIn, the world's leading social media site for connecting professionals and finding jobs. In many ways, LinkedIn is undoubtedly a goldmine for recruiters looking to source great talent. But as we discussed in my previous video, there are also some significant downfalls to LinkedIn. For many recruiters, it's a great starting point, but it represents one of the most basic sources of candidates available. So in this video, we'll cover GitHub, a sort of social media platform for software developers to host their projects and connect with like-minded users. But before we get started, as always, please consider to like, subscribe, click that bell, it really means a lot. Like I mentioned before, LinkedIn is a great starting point because there are so many users, many actively searching for new job opportunities on there. However, this also means that it may be hard to find specific, specialized talent among the hordes of users who are unrelated or unqualified for more advanced roles such as software engineering. So if you're looking for this sort of talent, you shouldn't limit your search to LinkedIn. In fact, you may forego LinkedIn altogether in favor for more specific sources. So for specialized technical talent, you should consider searching for and reaching out to potential candidates via GitHub. Let's talk a little bit about GitHub and why it's a great source of potential talent. So what is GitHub? You're likely familiar with the concept of open source software. The copyright holder allows the software's code to be modified and redistributed by the public. This is the principle that GitHub is built around. Software developers use it to upload versions of their projects, track the changes made with each software iteration, and then share the code for feedback and input from the public. You can think of it like a social media platform where users can have followers or star or like projects and share information about their qualifications and skills. So why should tech recruiters use it? So take it from me, technical recruiting is not easy. Software developers and engineers are some of the hardest positions to fill out there. Despite how lucrative they can be, many if not most technical candidates are passive, which means they aren't really actively looking for work, usually because they're already in a role they're already happy with. But that being the case, their LinkedIn profiles may not also be up to date if they have one at all. LinkedIn is a great resource, especially for more generalized roles, but chances are though, you'll have to dig a little deeper in order to find truly qualified talent. Although GitHub isn't made specifically for recruiting, staffing, and finding jobs like LinkedIn is, it's still an incredibly valuable resource you should consider when hiring for specialized technical roles. Chances are that developers are much more active on GitHub than they are on LinkedIn. Therefore, the information will be up to date and especially relevant for the role you're looking for. It's common to find contact information also on GitHub, and you can also consider reaching out to them via the platform itself. Best of all, it's completely free. So how do you find talent on GitHub? Even though it's not made specifically for hiring, GitHub contains plenty of helpful features to help you locate and narrow down on candidates with the skills and qualifications that you're looking for. First, let's break down the elements of a typical GitHub profile to see how they are valuable for learning more about your potential candidates. GitHub profile structure. A typical GitHub profile gives users the opportunity to display a variety of information. Keep in mind that not every user chooses to display this to the public, but the more you can find here, the easier it should be to reach out to them. Username. This is self-explanatory. It's a name they use to sign in to their account. Their username may not be terribly important to us as recruiters, but be sure to take note of it in case you want to try to locate the candidates on another platform. They might use the same username. Current employer. This is important to take note of. Passive candidates can be especially difficult to engage, but you can gain some insight into their current salary and benefits by doing some research on their current role and employer, allowing you to approach them with a more competitive, lucrative offer. Location. Keep this in mind if you're looking for candidates in a specific location. It will be less relevant for recruiters hiring for remote roles. Email address. Obviously, this is an incredibly valuable piece of information to look out for, but it's not always available. If you find yourself viewing a profile without a public email address, there is a potential workaround. Locate one of the user's repositories and then find comments by the user. Comments are like saved snapshots of a user's project. Click on a comment ID and you may be able to locate a user's email in the comment information. It should be noted though that users have the options to hide their emails from commit information as well. If you're unable to locate a user's email, there's no direct messaging feature on GitHub. You can try reaching out to the user via a comment on one of their projects, but this is where you might consider searching their username on other platforms for contact information. Website. Users can choose to display links to relevant websites on their profile. Consider searching these for more information you can use to your advantage. Followers. Here's another important section of a GitHub user's profile. The follower count can give you a great indication of their skill and reputation. Unlike other social media sites such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, users on GitHub don't have thousands of followers. In fact, all of the sources I located indicated anywhere from 2 to 10 followers is good, 11 to 25 is very good, 26 to 75 is great. Anything beyond that is likely a significant figure in the open source community. Chances are the more followers a user has, the harder they'll be to engage. Just something to keep in mind, as it's very competitive. Contributions. So beginning with the user's contributions, the technical details of a user's activities is where you'll really want to start paying attention. Along with repositories, forks, sources, and stars, you can get a good idea of a candidate's skills, qualifications, and the overall quality of their work. Contributions represent input or changes made to other users' projects. Keep an eye out for relevant keywords within the contribution titles. For instance, look for C++ if you're looking for a developer who uses that particular programming language. Repositories. Repositories are the developer's own projects they posted to GitHub. You can see how popular a particular user's projects by looking at the number of stars. Think of them as GitHub's version of likes, as well as the number of forks. Forks. A fork is a copy of a repository made by another user in order to use it in some way. They may incorporate code or function into their own projects, or iterate the repository to make their own offshoot of the software. The more forks a repository has, the more popular it is. Searching GitHub. So now that we've broken down the valuable elements of a user's profile, we can then start the search process. Create an account. It's important to first create an account on GitHub. You won't get very far without this one. Non-users are very restrictive and won't be able to access certain parts of users' accounts or search functions without first logging in. You may consider developing your user profile a bit if you tend to continue to use GitHub. GitHub filters and Google Boolean searches. So you can search for users directly on GitHub using 3 search parameters, adjusted to match the type of candidate you're looking for. If you're looking for users with experience in a particular type of programming language, you can use a language:*tag, like language:*JavaScript. For a specific location, use the location:*tag, like so, location:*Boston or New York. You can skip this if you're looking for more of a remote work from home candidate. Finally, depending on how well established of a candidate you're looking for, you can also use the followers:*tag to define a range of the amount of followers a user should have, separated by 2 periods. Here's an example, follower:10, period 20. While these 3 parameters are valuable for searching within GitHub, you can even get more specific by going to our old friend Google and what are known as Boolean strings. These are almost like mathematical formulas you can create in order to narrow down your search parameters. Boolean strings go beyond the scope of this video, but be sure to check out my previous video on how to use Boolean strings for sourcing candidates. The key to keep in mind when using Google to search specific sites is to really use the site:*tag. For GitHub, it looks like this, site:*github.com, reaching out to potential candidates. So once you've defined your search parameters, there's one last step to do in order to locate users. By default, GitHub displays repository results. Make sure you filter the results to quote users on the left-hand side of the screen in order to see results relevant to you. But once you've located potential candidates, you can then begin to reach out to them either via email or comment on their GitHub repository or elsewhere. Remember that research and personalization is key in engaging users. So this just about wraps up this brief overview on how to utilize GitHub to source talent. But this is only one way of doing so. Have your own methods of utilizing GitHub? I'd love to hear from you. Please make sure you comment below. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please consider like, subscribe, click that bell. It would really mean a lot. Feel free to also follow me at Preston_Park, as I try my best to also post daily. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.